welcome to the B Team podcast. I am your host, Josh Safran, with my co-host,
Matt Mars,
and our permanent guest,
Rob Nelson.
We're here every week to talk to you about all things Bentonville, bourbon, and business. The B Team podcast. Be here. Welcome to the B Team podcast. I'm your host, Josh Safran, with my permanent guest,
Robbie.
And our co-host,
Matt, and our alternate.
And it's a permanent alternate. I mean, that's a big title, Jim, because I mean, we're gonna have to get you up on the screen.
That's it, Mel Rushmore.
And Josh brought Jim in because he knows about tennis. I guess you and I only know about pickleball.
And there's a 50-50 chance whether I was going to make this one or not.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we're here. What are we talking about today?
Well, we're here all Thursdays for Business Bentonville Bourbon, and we're kind of going to go off of the cuff today because Tim is not Bentonville business or bourbon, but his story is super cool, and I wanted to have you on. Tim, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, Josh.
So Tim Siegel, there's a whole, he is former Razorback tennis player, former professional tennis player, top 100 in the world, doubles partner with Jimmy Arias, played in U.S. Open, like major tournaments, like big-time tennis player.
U.S. Open's a tennis tournament that's played every year in Flushing.
Help these guys out.
Okay.
I'm here to help.
Then Texas Tech tennis coach, big time in the tennis community.
SMU.
Well, he's down that way now. He's not at SMU.
He said he coached there.
SMU.
I was listening. He coached there. Yeah.
But the best thing with him is author, husband, father, and obviously we're here today to talk about Team Luke. So I'm not an avid reader, but I've read your books because it's very touching. So the story, he had a son named Luke. He has passed away. God rest his soul. And he was involved in a terrible golf cart accident. And you're doing a ton of stuff now around children and brain injury. So thank you for joining us today and spending time with us. And I'd love to just hear your story and how we can help spread the word.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I love my time at Arkansas. I was there from 82 to 86. I was fortunate to have been on some great teams. And then I knew I always wanted to go college tennis at some point. But between that time, I played professionally, was fortunate to have played all the Grand Slams, Wimbledon, U.S. Open, all those tournaments. Played against the big names like Lendl and John McEnroe, people like that. But I always knew I wanted to coach college tennis. And so I was the SMU tennis coach just 2 years. And then for 23 years, I coached at Texas Tech from 1993 to 2015. And I loved coaching. I had some really good teams, top 20 most of my years. But what I loved more than coaching was being around my children. At the time, I had 3 younger children. Little girl who was 12, a daughter who was 10, and then my son Luke was 9. And I just didn't want to be missing their sporting events. So on July 8th of 2015, I resigned from Texas Tech to take over the middle school and high school tennis coach, which is not the usual path for a Division I coach, but it's what I wanted to do to be around my children. 20 days later, on July 28th, 2015, I got a phone call, no FOP ever once received, that my son Luke was in a golf cart accident. He suffered an anoxic brain injury. We spent 5 months at 2 different hospitals. We were told Luke would never use his voice or open his eyes. But I always knew he would do more than what we were told. And we came home after 5 months, and I became Luke's primary caregiver, where I spent literally every waking hour as the night nurse, day nurse, therapist, took him to therapies all over. And I was just so convinced that he was going to speak. And he was doing remarkably well, making some progress. He would move his tongue to commands. I'm from New Orleans, so we're big Faith fans. And I would absolutely move his tongue. If he loved his thing, he would move his tongue. Basically would make some sounds. And then just in August of 21, Luke got COVID. And on August 19th, 2021, Luke passed away from COVID.
So sorry to hear. Your story and his story is very inspiring. And so I'm sure that was an awful time when he passed. But you're doing wonderful things in his name now, helping others and driving a lot of awareness.
Well, I am. I was told early on that I should start a nonprofit. And I just didn't know the first thing about it. But I started Team Luke. I merged with another nonprofit called Hope for Minds out of Austin. And we had the same vision, the same goal, and that was to help children who've had a brain injury. And we started in January of 2018. We have granted over $500,000 to families each of those years. We have we have support groups online. We have a conference in October every year in Austin. Last year we had 120 families attend the conference. This year we've already scholarshiped 80 families. Just in the last 2 months, gentlemen, we got over 50 families need our assistance. We've helped financially, we help through education, we help families, non-fatal driving, car accidents, like my son. So I am doing all that I can to keep my son's legacy alive by helping families each and every day.
That's awesome.
What's amazing, you're doing an amazing job of telling the story, but I'm gonna go up one more level. Like Drew Brees, Hall of Fame quarterback for the Saints, got connected to this, and then it just spread like wildfire with professional athletes. I mean, you have so many professional celebrities involved in what you're doing, which is incredible testament to not only you, but obviously your son.
Well, I appreciate that. The day of the accident, I reached out to the Saints, and I said, look, could Drew Brees send a video? A week or two later, I get a video from Drew, and that led to our being at Saints games with Luke in his wheelchair. I went to practices. Drew came to Lubbock to do an event for Team Luke. I still keep in touch with Drew. If you have ever watched Patrick Mahomes play football, you know that on his right wrist, there's a Team Luke Hope for Minds bracelet, because Luke and I would watch Patrick at Texas Tech, and so Patrick's been very involved. We've also had so many tennis players, for Andre Agassi, Andy Roddick, John Isner. I could go on and on. All of these tennis players have supported us. Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer all sent videos to Luke. So we also have one more. I'm a big Texas Ranger fan, and Luke was the biggest Elvis Andrus fan. And so we asked the Rangers to have Elvis send a video, which he did. We become very close with Elvis. He visited Luke in the hospital. We visited Elvis in the clubhouse, and I keep in touch with Elvis regularly. So the world of professional athletes have been very supportive for sure. And of course, also John Calipari spoke last year at an event at Pinnacle, and so I'm very, very close with the Razorback basketball, teams. And so I'm just excited to help as many families as I can, and I'm blessed to be able to help. Although I'm extremely sad every day because of what happened to my son, I'm also blessed to know that because of my son's story and the inspiration that he has helped so many people. Then you mentioned my book. I wrote a couple of books. I just know that Luke continues to make a difference in the lives of so many talents.
I don't ever see these guys quiet. They're always chirping and breaking balls and stuff like that. And like what you're doing here is it's serious. I mean, it's kids and it's brain injury and it's paying it forward to so many different people. I mean, share the website, and I guess how can we help, and how can we continue to help spread your word?
TeamLukeHopeForMinds.org is our website, and we also had a documentary that just came out. It's on YouTube, and it's called Hope Beyond the Diagnosis. And we interview families at our conference. Dr. Phil has actually had the segment on there. A lot of the athletes I just mentioned are on there as well. I think that will really tell the story as well as anything. ESPN did a story on us that's also on YouTube. It's called A Father, a Son, and Their Saint. So I'm just amazed. We also have a Facebook page called Luke's Legacy, Pray for Luke Siegel. And we have over 70,000 followers. There are right posts on there. So many people reach out to it and send messages. So, I feel like it's my calling. This is my purpose in life now. And I also want to share one other thing, is that I do a lot of public speaking all over the country with teams, with schools, with businesses. And I have what's called 7 inspirations from Luke. And those 7 inspirations are: find your passion, don't ever quit, lean on friends and family, make good choices, be careful, have faith, find forgiveness, and let a loved one's legacy live on through you. And that's sort of the core of my message. And I think it's getting out there around the country. I'm really proud of.
Now, you guys know, you would know specifically, and then obviously you're familiar with the story. We had a horrible golf cart tragedy here a few years back with a young tennis phenom named Colin Matthews. Yep. And again, there was such an outpouring. We live in gated communities here, and I saw kids this week on golf carts. I mean, it's not a toy. I mean, it's these things are powerful vehicles, and they're powerful, and
they flip easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy and scary around this. All could have been easily prevented, and I know that you're seeing and hearing many more stories about things that it's shocking around how kids are getting hurt, and we need to send the message out that kids need to be more careful, and parents should be more careful with this as well.
We've actually helped Colin's family. I've spent time with the family. They were at our event last year. You know, I'm not anti-golf cart. I'm just pro-safety.
Yep.
And it's real hard for me to fathom that this family thought it was a good idea to let 2 9-year-olds unsupervised on a city street on a modified golf cart. But as you mentioned, so many golf carts are out there, and if Luke had a helmet on, if Luke had seat belts, you know, all this could have been different. But as I said at the conference last year, if Luke didn't have his accident, there would be no Team Luke for Minds, and we would not be helping so many families giving out thousands of dollars every year.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as I think about it, you know, kids are riding bikes. I see more and more kids with helmets. I think sometimes, you know, something like a golf cart, there's like a false sense of security that you think, oh, well, I'm almost in a little car, and you're really not. Outside of the obvious, you know, wear helmets when you're riding bikes, or what is some of the advice or recommendations you could give to people out there to help keep we're all parents. We all want to, you know, not just for ourselves, but for our community as well, keep kids safe. Like, what are some of the things that we should be pushing in the area?
Well, I think it starts with parents. You know, parents need to know that especially when you have modified golf carts that's taller and heavier, it can tip over. And that's what happened and tipped off of Luke. He suffered head and chest trauma. But I've been around so many families that think my son is safe, he's fine. But I've seen parents with their children on the back of the golf cart, and all it takes is one little bump, and your child has a brain injury from a head injury. And I just wish that parents were more aware of the dangers, you know. And it's the hardest things for me when I think about this. You know, I have been in front of so many cities and talking to their city council about golf cart safety. And I'm amazed at how even the city council is not really aware of the danger. And yet we are receiving at least 1 or 2, it seems like every week, from an ATV or a golf cart every single week. And it's hard to handle, but at the same time, if Luke's injury and accident is helping one family, then we think we're making some good out of this.
Well, it certainly sounds like it's helped more than one family, and the fact that you took something so devastating and tragic and made it something that can have a positive influence on the people around you and communities around you is certainly something to applaud.
Thank you.
Do you have a large annual fundraiser once a year, or can you share with the viewers a little bit about that?
We have multiple, events. We have an air spring in Lubbock. We've had Drew Brees, Dick Vitale. We've had Demario Davis, the linebacker of the New Orleans Saints, who actually prayed over Luke before a game. We've had a lot of country music artists, the Eli Young Band, Diamond Rio, Pat Green, and then we have a golf tournament in Austin, and we will be having an event in Little Rock. My good friend Bobby Bank is director at Country Club of Little Rock. He used to be at Fort Smith, where we've had all those tennis events. So we do quite a bit, and we're just trying to raise money from different events from different individuals. You know, Andre Agassi has been incredible to us. He's actually playing tennis on Tuesday with someone who is donating money. Gets to play with Agassi, have lunch with Andre.
That's fantastic.
What a guy he is.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. Andy Roddick, who's done a couple events for us, and it kind of twirled has been fantastic.
If you wanted to play tennis with Andy Roddick or Andre Agassi or Monica Seles or Could we get, what does that cost for Matt to do that? Because he likes to write checks.
You know, maybe that's something that we talk about off the air.
Yeah, Josh.
Let's put it this way. It's 6 figures.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Just keep it to Agassi's back end. You'll be fine.
Don't let him serve. That's amazing. I would imagine for you, and I'm going to use a different context. Jim and I have been divorced before. I don't know where this is going, but I'm going to go to a good place. And we get questions. Hey, I'm going through a divorce. Can you give me some advice? I'm certain that having been through this with Luke, you're getting a lot of families at stage 1 when you've been through this from soup to nuts saying, I don't know what to do. I'm sure you're providing so much value, paying it forward to these families that are in a spot now where you were many, many years ago. That's got to be very touching for you.
Well, I'll add this, that I have an amazing relationship. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, I did get divorced because of what happened to my son. When you grieve, you're grieving so differently. And my ex-wife saw Luke's injuries as more devastating than his passing. And for me, it was the opposite. I was so convinced that Luke was going to speak, although I do feel Luke is speaking right now just through me. But my relationship with my ex-wife is beautiful. It's wonderful. We have 2 amazing daughters with my ex-wife. But my advice to parents is that when something like this happens, whether it's an injury or a passage, is that keep the lines of communication open. Reach out for therapy is vital. Being open, faith in God, going to church. It's impossible to survive this alone. And I've learned a lot about myself, certainly. It wasn't until 2 years ago that I actually forgave the family that allowed this to happen. And once that happened, I felt free. I felt that I could live with sadness, and I rid myself of bitterness, angerness, and the need to forgive. And so really there's one message, and that is to lean on each other, but also realize that forgiveness is probably the most important thing that we can.
I bet that was hard, though. I bet that was really hard. I mean, must have been, did you actually go speak to the family?
I did. I started with a text, and I met with the family afterwards. I gave them my book. My second book is called Fight Like Luke, Transforming Grief into Love, Strength, and Faith. And the one thing I've learned about forgiveness is you don't just do it once. It's really an everyday thing. And I'll be in Lubbock next weekend for our annual 5K color run. And once I get to Lubbock, I think about the triggers and certainly about that family. But I just know that I've got to do all I can to move forward. My son is always in my heart every minute of every day, but I have 3 daughters. I have family and friends, and I can't allow myself to just be so much in pain. Although, August 19th is the 4th anniversary of Luke's passing.
Yeah.
July and August used to be great months for me because those were months that the summer, enjoying life and after the season, and now those are the 2 worst months of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we all have kids here. I mean, I can't imagine. You're supposed to bury your parents. You're not supposed to bury your child. I mean, I can only imagine the grief and the pain and the suffering and the things it's done. But you've been able to turn it into so much good for so many other people. I mean, it's very selfless of you to be able to say, hey, I want to help all these other families out. And you're helping how many families a year?
Well, we grant around $500,000 to families every year. We're able to give up to $5,000. So, we help families through support groups. I have a podcast called Tuesdays with Tim's. I just interviewed a mom just yesterday whose son had a non-fatal drought. Oh. And just to share her story and to get the word out and to know that the brain can heal. To what extent every injury is different, we don't know. But we were told Luke would never use his limbs, use his voice, and his open his eyes because of his anoxic, globally damaged brain. But he did all 3. And the one message that I tell parents is that every therapy is important, every one of them. But the most important therapy is love. And I was there with Luke, giving him all the love and talking about the Saints, the Texas Rangers, the Texas Tech, and the Razorbacks. And I know that was a big part of Luke's healing.
What do you got, Matthew, for him?
I don't know. It's not, I mean, I can't believe how strong you are with what you've done, and it's amazing. That's all I can say.
I mean,
I just wanna
you're not
cry about
speechless
it.
normally. I mean, this
No.
is hard for us.
Sad.
Yeah, 99% of the time we have somebody here live in studio, and it's like, all right, we're virtual. And I said, guys, we got to make this one happen today because your story and what you're doing for Luke and what you're doing for kids is.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I've never met you in person before. I'm looking forward to playing tennis with you later on this year. But what you're doing is, I mean, you're a saint. I mean, it's fantastic the way you're helping others, and you don't have to do any of this stuff. And it's just amazing to me that you're giving back so much on something that hurts and is painful for you. I can't say enough about it. I can't say enough about it.
Well, thank you. You know what's interesting about this is that I've been asked by many people what I do for a living isn't healthy for me. And the truth is, there's nothing else that I could be doing. Now, the very last thing that Luke and I ever did just prior to July 28th of 2015 was play tennis. And my whole life was playing tennis. And because of that day, I think it was July 25th, and when Luke said to me, I want to be on your tennis team, I could not get near a tennis court. When I would see a tennis court, when I would think about tennis, it made my stomach hurt. And for 9 years, I didn't touch a tennis racket. I didn't get near tennis courts. And 1 year ago, my daughter said, let's play some tennis. And since I've been in Dallas, I play tennis 2 or 3 times a week. I'm supporting the SMU TCU tennis team. And tennis is now part of my life that I thought I would never play again. And I do know that this has been so great for my heart, for my health, because I know I need distractions, but I also know I need to be strong. And you mentioned that I'm strong. If you would see me at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, you would know that some days I'm not. Some days I just need to go for long walks. It's the amount of pain that I feel is so real and so severe at times, but I just know that I'm doing this with and for my son. And Luke's favorite number is 3. And the football coach at Texas Tech does not give out number 3 anymore. It goes to the hardest work from the greatest fight of your honor son. Well, and every time I think of that number 3, it gives me strength. And I see the number 3 every single day. And I know that when I see that number, it makes me feel closer to my son.
Well, I knew your story from playing with Coach Cox and the Razorbacks. Shout out to Coach Cox, a wonderful human being. And I play in the Tuesday drill down there. Jim plays with me sometimes. And I hadn't heard the story, and we all had Team Luke shirts one year. Simon and Coach Cox, and we're all playing. We're all wearing the Team Luke. So I was wearing my Team Luke shirt. And I go, hey, guys, explain the story. And they pulled the story. And then I started reading the book and following you. And it's like, it's just amazing, all the stuff that you really have going on. Well, what is the connection today to the Northwest Arkansas area, and how much are you doing up here, and how much are you associated with Coach Calipari, Coach Cox, and other things up here in the region?
You know, there are a lot of people, and I said that at the tennis reunion last year, there's nobody, and I mean nobody, that's a bigger Razorbacks fan than I am. Maybe at most, but not more so. And I remember telling that at the tennis reunion, I just love the Razorback. I would say that my 4.5 years at Arkansas were right up there with my 23 at Texas Tech. I feel so much pride and support and love for the Razorbacks. I love driving to Siegel. Once I get here to campus, I have a different feeling. And I'm very close to Jay Adwadia, the tennis coach, and I'm close to Robert Cox, and that Brex was in a few weeks back. I come to Fayetteville a lot. I'm very close to Connor Robinson, my good buddy, my teammate. So I look forward to coming back for a football game. I'm coming back, obviously, in October for the Stags tennis weekend. And I just get so much pride. And you know, I can say, guys, that I wouldn't be surprised in 2 or 3, 4 years from now, I'm living at Fayetteville and I'm going to every race of that.
Whoa.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Are you telling us something here? You're breaking news that you're going to come back this way?
That's breaking news, but keep it between us.
I mean, we only have 2.5 million followers.
Well,
I mean, that's,
it'll be between us and our 12 viewers.
The one thing I will say, you're coming up, it sounds like the first weekend in October.
That's correct.
I'm going to ask you a favor on behalf of the team here. Do not take it easy on Josh. I want him to
Do not let him
run all over the court. Like, I don't want to see him get a point.
We don't want him to return
That's
any
exactly
anything.
right. I mean, I just want you to absolutely punish him. Do you think you could do that for us?
I will bring my A game.
That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear.
So Steve still does the draw from a lottery. I'm going to ask him if he could help me make sure I get on your team. It feels like that's my best. But Simon's playing again this year as well, if I understand it.
Yes, he is, and I know that Simon's knees are not as good as mine, so I'm hoping that he's going to be struggling. But last year I did play with Steve. It was a blast. But you know what's amazing, guys, is that I'm probably in better shape today at 61 years old than I was at 5. And it's really because of all that I was dealing with in my heart, in my pain. I didn't get my heart rate up for a long time because I was so focused on those monitors, the heart monitors, the brain pressure monitor. And now that I'm back on the tennis court, I just know it's good for my health. It's good for my heart. And I'm really excited about playing tennis again. I'm going to be available playing with Simon. I'll be back in October. I want to go to basketball games, football games. So I look forward to seeing all you guys in October.
But I would imagine in these past 10 years when you were so focused on Luke and everything else, you probably didn't eat well. You probably didn't sleep well. You probably didn't work out. I'm sure it was a strain on you mentally, physically, but more important, emotionally. I'm sure you were a shell of what you are today as far as the physicality goes.
You know, one thing you don't know is until you start to sleep, you don't realize how much you need it. I'm going to tell you something that is an absolute fact, that for 6 years, I never had one night of sleep, one full night of sleep, because I was Luke's night nurse 5 nights a week, and the other 2 nights, I was always worried about Luke. And so I never slept. And I used to drive Luke every week for 2 years for therapy in Fort Worth, Wednesday to Friday. And I was up all night making sure he was okay, getting him meds, turning your, and still to this day, I can't sleep without a little help. Trazodone has been my lifesaver. I do need that because when I wake up, all I could do is think about my son and Teague Luke, and so it's hard for me. But I know that I let myself go. But I walk a lot. I play tennis a lot now, and I'm in a much better place. Much better place.
So if I'm playing against you, do I want to play to your backhand? Do I want to get I need something to give me a little bit of an advantage when we're what's the weakness we have to play against?
Let's put it this way: if you turn to my backhand, I'll be very happy.
So you got a great backhand.
Do you have a prediction on the score? If you played a set against Josh,
he would
think the score.
He's a top.
Does he get a game?
Do I get a point?
Well, listen, I was a doubles player. I was a good college tennis player. I'm blessed to have been in the Razorback Hall of Fame, and I think that was in 2019. But I was a doubles player, and I had a big win over Yvonne Lendl in doubles. I've beaten Yannick Noah in doubles. I made the third round of the U.S. Open, third round of the Australian Open. I've had to see incredible life experience of traveling the world, but I do feel like I'm in good shape. But I'm not the player I used to be, but I still feel pretty good.
Net player, baseliner.
I was all about coming forward. My strength still to this day is my quickness, my volleys. I do not have that Alcaraz type forehand, but I'm definitely a doublet player all the way.
So I'm going to see if I can throw Steve Stagg a couple of dollars and see because he does a lottery to figure out who you're playing with. Okay. I played with Stagg the first year that we did it, and he was very distracted with all of the tennis tournament, and I was not playing well, and we didn't fare very well. And I'm coming off knee surgery. These guys know.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
We had to live it with him.
Listen, the excuses.
Yeah.
It's been plenty of time. Be ready on October 3rd or 4th or whenever this is.
Here's my idea. Let you and I hit some balls the day before it starts just to get an idea.
Yeah.
And that way I can play your game, and that way you can find out my weakness.
It doesn't sound like you're going to have too many, other than the hamstring injury you had last year that knocked you out in the semifinals, the way I heard it.
That is correct. That's embarrassing, but I promise you that I'm healthy now.
He's on
He's coming. He's coming. And Simon's got a big. Simon's a big player too. It's going to be a fun. It's down in Fayetteville. Steve Stagg has a clay court tennis at his house. It's going to be. It's like a 50 and over tennis tournament weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy watching.
Are you playing in it too or not?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they let me play.
Well, I'm grateful as Steve really talks about Team Luke and those that want to dominate Team Luke. and he makes it a Team Luke weekend, and everybody will get a Team Luke shirt, and I'll give everybody one of my books and a Team Luke bracelet. So it's a special weekend, Sophie, for sure.
I'm willing to make a donation for every ace you get by Josh. We can certainly make this.
Yeah, I could
we
go
can
in
make
on
this
that.
a moneymaker for you as well.
Yeah.
As long as it's a really lopsided outcome.
I'll jump on that bandwagon.
Here you go, Tim. It's your new fundraiser. Beat the crap out of Josh.
That's exactly
You
right.
guys need to be there to come watch.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I wouldn't miss it.
Tim, thank you for coming on with us today. I'm excited to meet you in person in a few months. Thank you for all that you do. I mean, again, these guys, everybody's very chirpy on the podcast. Everybody's listening intently to your story, what you've done with Luke, the way that you're raising funds. I mean, just major kudos to you, and I thank you for coming on today, and I'm excited to meet you in person.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate just spread awareness about, children with brain injuries. TeamLukeHopeForMinds.org is our website. Please get a chance, go to listen to Hope Beyond the Diagnosis. And it's an amazing documentary. It is out there, and I would love for you to let me know what you think of it.
I will, and I listened to the other day the NFL segment that you sent over, the ESPN segment. I mean, I had chills. I'll make sure I share it with you guys. Like, it's the Sunday Countdown, and they did a whole segment on him and his son, and it's just like the hair on the back of your neck stands up for what has happened and transpired, and the way that everybody's rallied around his son and Tim and the work that he's doing. So it's just an amazing story.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. Pleasure.
thank
Looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you.
Cheers. See ya.
Cheers.